A warm welcome to a new video from Goodbye Matrix. I'm back at the Reserve in Singapore, right here in the Reserve's film studio, so they really have many options here where you can record videos at various locations. Sitting next to me is Gregor Gregersen, the founder of Silver Bullion and also CEO. This video is going to be about physical gold. What happens if you store precious metals in Singapore with silver bullion, whether it is gold or silver? What does silver bullion have to report in that case? Is there something comparable to the common reporting standard for bank accounts, where information is reported to the tax authorities once a year? Or are physical precious metals not subject to that at all? That's always a question I get from clients. What about discretion? Gregor, what is the situation if someone stores gold and silver with you? Are you required to report this to the government once a year, similar to what we know from bank accounts?
Well, we have no reporting obligation, neither to Singapore nor to other states, because we are not a financial institution. We don't buy paper gold or financial instruments. It's all physical. And for these reasons, we have no obligation to do such a thing. So this is up to the customer, so they can practically handle their own taxes themselves. But we don't have this obligation.
So of course, you as an investor or as a depositor must naturally comply with the tax laws. And you naturally have to report capital gains yourself, and so on and so forth, if they are taxable in your country, and declare them. That's obviously quite clear. That means just because silver bullion doesn't have to make a report once a year, as you might know from a bank account, it doesn't mean that you can just bypass it and evade taxes. Of course, we don't advise that either. It's just about the fact that we keep getting this question, and people naturally want a certain amount of discretion because everything is becoming more transparent nowadays too, with various exchange mechanisms. But what would it look like now if, let's say, a government were to actively approach you and ask, well, does Sergio have precious metals here? Would you have to answer that? Or only if there's really a criminal offense, or if a Singaporean court obliges you to provide information?
Well, there is no basis in Singaporean law to demand such a thing. But if it's something related to a crime, and the police come and ask, then of course we have to do it. We also have to follow AML, KYC rules and so on against money laundering and so forth. But there is no standard reporting obligation. It's also perhaps important to understand that you can open an account like Star Storage, for example, where we store it. A customer can also set up their own storage box and bring gold themselves. That's a
safe deposit box.
That is, of course, also a do-it-yourself option, so to speak. That is something a customer can do now if they want a larger or more private area. For example, if someone prefers extra space or values privacy, they have the option to request a bigger or more secluded spot. Customers just need to let us know their preferences, and we will do our best to accommodate them whenever possible. Looking for privacy. That means, of course, that you have to be physically in Singapore.
Yes.
So there are pros and cons with these things. That means
you don't go and fill the safe deposit box for the client. The client has to do that themselves at that point.
A safe deposit box is, by definition, something that only the customer has access to.
Yes.
In the US, for example, if you have a safe deposit box, it's not seen as a financial account. And you don't have to do any reporting on it to the IRS. But a safe deposit box, it's not just the physical thing that looks like a locker, but it depends, or it's important that we as the provider don't have access, because then it's no longer a safe deposit box.
Yes.
Then it's more like a kind of vault service. And you could, for example, have a lawyer or someone else, a third party, who puts gold in and takes it out. So those are all possibilities.
I can specify that beforehand and then say, okay, my wife has access, or the notary or the lawyer, whoever.
Yes, or a customer, for example. I mean, it could be someone, let's say, from Australia, for example, who then says, I also want to ensure that my daughter and my wife have access to this box, if anything happens to me. And it's, of course, a very simple thing. It's just a rental of a space. And then you can also put some gold bars and other things in there.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good option that you can also consider, Let me just mention that again. We have 12,500 such safe deposit boxes. So we have in all possible sizes. So
yeah, I see.
There's
plenty of choice.
Plenty of choice.
And I know this from Austria, for example. We also work with safe deposit box providers in Austria. And they are required by the Austrian state to report the safe deposit boxes, basically that someone has a safe deposit box and has rented it. Is it the same in Singapore, that it's reported to the government, basically, who has a safe deposit box? Not what's actually inside the safe deposit box itself, of course, but just that it's registered that Sergio, for example, has a safe deposit box. Or does that not exist yet in Singapore?
That doesn't exist, no.
So that means if I rent a safe deposit box here, then it hasn't been exchanged so far. And it would be full?
Yes.
personal discretion at that particular moment?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yes. So as you've seen, if you want discretion in your own portfolio, then it's just a very good option to store physical precious metals in Singapore and include them in your portfolio. Not only are these exchange mechanisms increasing, but also, the registers for various assets are supposed to be set up. And it's also important that you look for jurisdictions outside the EU that are safe, where you as investors are also protected, where private property is protected. And Singapore is, of course, a very, very good and excellent option. That means if you want to contact Silver Bullion now, Silver Bullion's customer support, you'll find a form below the video. You can just fill that out. Then you'll be forwarded directly to the customer support. You can also specify there what you potentially want to invest or how many precious metals you want to buy, also whether you want to rent a safe deposit box, and then the customer support can also make you a tailored offer accordingly, potentially with special conditions. On that note, see you in the next video. Thanks, Gregor.